Fantasy Basketball Week 4 NBA Injury News Updates. If you're under the impression that the NBA has gotten off to a rough start from an injury standpoint, you are not alone. Multiple teams have been decimated by injuries early on, and the names of 2 more stars were added to the injury report on Sunday night alone. But there is some good news. Philadelphia's Joel Embiid will return from his knee injury and 3-game suspension on Tuesday when the 76ers open Emirates NBA Cup play against the Knicks. Embiid and Paul George will share the court as teammates for the first time, while the 76ers continue without Tyrese Maxey, hamstring. He'll be re-evaluated toward the end of Week 4, with his absence moving Kyle Lowry into the starting lineup. However, fantasy managers may want to focus on rookie Jared McCain, who is rostered in 8% of Yahoo leagues and was outstanding in Sunday's overtime win over Charlotte. He may lack Lowry's experience, but the rookie offers a significantly higher ceiling. Another 76ers player to consider for their 3-game Week 3 is Guerschon Yabusele, who also played well against the Hornets and has been consistently better than Andre Drummond in Embiid's absence. Yabusele is available in 95% of Yahoo leagues. Let's look at some of the injuries that will impact Week 4 in fantasy basketball, beginning with 2 stars injured on Sunday. Davis exited Sunday's win over the Raptors during the third quarter after being inadvertently hit in the left eye by Jakob Poeltl. The concern is that this is the same eye Davis injured on 2 separate occasions last season, in March and April. The initial corneal abrasion suffered in March did not require Davis to miss any game time, but he missed 1 game after aggravating it during an April 7 game against the Timberwolves. The severity of the most recent eye injury was unknown at the time of publishing, but an absence would push Jackson Hayes into the starting lineup. However, managers in standard and shallow leagues should check first to ensure Rui Hachimura, 53% rostered, is not sitting on the waiver wire. He stands to be far more impactful in fantasy leagues than Hayes, even if the latter were to make a spot start or more in place of Davis. The Lakers play 3 games in Week 4, all within a 4-day span, beginning with the Grizzlies on Wednesday, already playing without Isaiah Hartenstein hand. The Thunder watched their young phenom Holmgren go down during the first half of Sunday's loss to Golden State. Early Monday morning, ESPN's Shams Charania reported that Holmgren has been diagnosed with a right iliac hip fracture and will be re-evaluated in 8 to 10 weeks. Add in the likely ramp-up process, and it may not be until sometime close to the All-Star break when Holmgren can play enough to impact fantasy basketball. So who should you add? While he's already a starter and doesn't play the same position as Holmgren, Luguentz Dort, 24%, would be an excellent place to start. He's providing 6th round per game value thus far, and while that may not be sustainable, given his career numbers, Holmgren's absence makes Dort's role that much more important to Oklahoma City. Ousmane Dieng may pick up more minutes, along with Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, and Isaiah Joe, but they all come with considerable risk. Dieng has only played 12.4 minutes per game, while the Wiggins/Wallace/Joe trio has rotated in the 5th starter role. They will all play rotation minutes, but this is not a great spot to find significant fantasy value. Durant injured his calf during Friday's win over the Mavericks in Dallas and will be re-evaluated in approximately 2 weeks, as was the case when the Suns were without Bradley Beal. Ryan Dunn, 2%, was the replacement in the starting lineup, but the rookie did not provide much fantasy value. Again, Royce O'Neal, 28%, is the player fantasy managers should target if they're looking for a player who can provide value in Durant's absence. He didn't shoot the ball well against the Kings on Sunday, but O'Neal is shooting 47.4% for the season and offering top 75 per game value. Grayson Allen, 15%, is also worth a look for the three-point production, especially if Beal has to miss time after taking a hit to his left knee during overtime on Sunday. Lastly, Mason Lee, 2%, will only have streaming value if Jusuf Nurkic has to sit due to his sore ankle. Morant is back on the injury report for a hip injury suffered during the Grizzlies' win over the Lakers last week. He's considered week to week, which means one thing: it's Scottie Pippen Jr., 49% time. Already playing well as the backup point guard, Pippen has stepped into the starting point guard role in Memphis' last two games, wins over the Wizards and Trail Blazers. Both games being blowouts limited his time on the court, but he only needed 28 minutes to record a triple-double in Friday's win over Washington. Marcus Smart, 21%, could return during Week 4, especially with Memphis not playing until Wednesday, but Pippen is the player to target in standard and shallow leagues. Butler sprained his ankle early in Miami's loss to Denver on Friday, playing just 7 minutes. That game sparked multiple changes to the lineup, with Nikola Jovic, 9%, being moved to the bench after a run of ineffective play. The starting forwards in Sunday's win over the Timberwolves were Haywood Highsmith, 4%, and Kevin Love, 1%, while Jamie Jaquez Jr., 20%, was among the reserves in his first game back from an illness. Of the available options, Jaquez offers the highest ceiling if Butler remains sidelined. But this may only be a one-game absence for him. The Heat hit the road for